Picture this, a tropical paradise saying no to bigger cruise ships, a fiery disaster shaking up a cruise port, and a wristband drama turning an excursion into chaos. We've got the latest cruise news you need to know before your next adventure. So let's dive into what's happening in the Caribbean and beyond. Ahoy, travelers! It's Amy here with your weekly Cruise News Roundup and my thoughts on some of the biggest stories of the week. In our first story, we've got big news coming from the Cayman Islands. On April 30th, locals voted in a referendum, and with a solid 64% saying not happening, they turned down a plan to build 2 new cruise piers in Georgetown. Now, the idea was to let those massive new ships, these mega ships, like the ones from Royal Caribbean, the newer ones from Carnival, and the ones that Carnival has planned, dock directly instead of tendering, which can be a hassle for bigger vessels. Locals in the tourism community thought it'd bring in more visitors and cash, especially since the Caymans have been bouncing back strong post-pandemic. But a lot of residents, along with groups like CPR Cayman and marine experts, were worried about the impact. Think coral reefs, Stingray City, and just the vibe of the island getting too crowded. So for now, it's business as usual with tender boats shuttling you to shore. But there is a chance some cruise lines might skip Grand Cayman if they can't dock those mega ships, which could shake things up for the local economy. You can't get 7,000 people tendered back and forth very easily. Now, the Caymans are clearly putting their environment and chill island life first, and we're going to see how that plays out for future cruises. Would you be more likely to get off at ports without a tender? Let me know. I'm not a fan of tendering. I really don't like it. Well, we have yet another crazy incident that went down with a Carnival cruiser, this time on an excursion to Blue Lagoon Island in Nassau, Bahamas. This occurred on the 28th. A woman was physically removed from a ferry after she didn't have the required wristband, which is a must for safety and verifying bookings. For this excursion, everybody gets a wristband and they're provided to them prior to leaving the ship. The passenger was able to get on board the ferry, and when it was discovered that she did not have the wristband, she claimed she paid for the trip but somehow didn't get one. The ferry operator wasn't budging on their no wristband, no entry rule, and when she refused to leave, things got heated. Now, other passengers were stuck waiting in the hot sun, and they started to get frustrated, and eventually, over an hour later, Bahamian police stepped in and dragged this lady off the ferry to cheers from the crowd. The TikToker who posted the video of the altercation said we're stuck on the boat for 1.5 hours because one lady snuck on without a wristband and refused to get off. Carnival excursion turned hostage situation? You can't make this up. They went on to say she, the lady who had gotten on the ferry without the wristband, was determined that she was not getting off this boat. Security came, asked her to leave, and she just kept saying, "I'm not getting off the boat," over and over again. Her little boy was begging her to get off the boat, and then the little boy just walked away and broke down and started crying. Tragic. I mean, parents really need to think about how their actions are also affecting their children and what they're teaching their children. Well, anyway, this lady was taken off of the ferry, and she later said that she did get a refund from Carnival, but the cruise line has not confirmed this and has not commented on the incident. They're citing possible legal action, so they're just not saying anything. Now, this whole mess shows how strict excursion policies can be. So double check you've got everything that you're supposed to have. If it's a wristband, you've got the wristband. If you had to print out a piece of paper, make sure you've got it. Make sure you have that before you get off the ship and before you try to board any kind of ferry or bus or van or whatever. You don't want to have to miss out on those island adventures that you're booking. So story number 3, some serious news out of Nassau, Bahamas, where a massive fire broke out on April 30th in the heart of downtown, right near the cruise port. The blaze tore through Bay Street, a super popular spot for cruise passengers, destroying several historic buildings, including the old straw market and nearby shops. And it started around 1 a.m., and while firefighters battled it for hours, strong winds made it tough to control, causing millions in damages. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but the area is a mess, with Bay Street closed off while cleanup is underway. Now, this is a big deal since Nassau is one of the busiest cruise ports in the Caribbean, hosting up to 7 ships daily. And Bay Street's where many people go for shopping and dining. So cruise lines like Carnival and Royal Caribbean haven't changed their itineraries yet, but passengers might find some excursions or activities disrupted while the city recovers. So locals are rallying to support affected businesses, and officials say the cruise port itself is fully operational, so your ship will still dock, but expect a different vibe in downtown Nassau for a little bit. Well, last week I told you guys about having to stop Stella, my rescue duck, from laying eggs way back in a spot I can't get to. That meant that this week I went on a hunt to figure out where she was laying the eggs now that she couldn't get to her old spot. I kept looking around and couldn't find a new nest, so I got suspicious. And sure enough, I found that she had somehow squeezed through this little small opening to get back to her original spot. I ended up putting up a temporary fix in place by propping up a wood panel over that opening, so she shouldn't be able to get back there. Fast forward 2 days, and I still couldn't locate a new nest, but she was still heading into the chicken coop. This spot was located at the back of the chicken coop and around a corner. So she is still going into the chicken coop in the mornings. And Friday morning, I finally went in to follow her after I had done everything else, looked around for her. She is nowhere to be found inside the coop. So I got out the flashlight on my phone, and sure enough, she had managed to get back to her original nest again. She had pushed the panel out of her way somehow and just made herself way back in that back corner again. She is nothing if not persistent. Yesterday, I ended up stapling a feed bag over the small opening that she was using, but I haven't been able to do a check and see if that actually worked. So I don't know if she got through it today. We'll see. If she found a new nest, we're going to have to figure that out. I don't know how she would be able to get past it, but who knows? I think Stella is exactly what people mean when they say someone is an odd duck, because she won't hang out with the other ducks. She has yet to try out the duck pond, and she refuses to go into any of the coops at night. Nope, she literally sleeps out in the yard. One of these days, I'm going to come home to a bunch of feathers and no Stella. I mean, I live out in the middle of nowhere. We have coyotes. We have foxes. We have raccoons. There's all kinds of manner of things that could come and get her. And last year, some of you will remember, I lost a lot of chickens to something that was getting them, and that was during the daytime. Well, are you ready for more information on cruising? Why not stick around and check out this video, and then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.